3 or 4 years ago, I went to work for a company down in Dover, New Philly, Denison, Uricville, southern Tuscarora County. And they had a card that was bigger than it had eight ads on each side, 16 ads. And they mailed them every 2 months. And it was the biggest challenge I ever had in my life as far as sales goes, to keep everybody on it. Because the H&R Block people, they would only do it in January, February, March, April. Then they would drop off. Then I go back. But they mail them every 2 months. So I lasted about a year with that company, and I quit. And they pulled out of the area. Well, Vivian Mosley does all this artwork. She does business for the Market magazines, the Gold Clipper, anything like this. And we had an advertiser down there by the name of Jim Murray. He owned a carpet cleaning business. And he was on every card we had, and he bought a little bigger ad, and he got tremendous business from it. Well, he died. Well, before he died, I should say this. When I quit that other company, he kept saying to Vivian, when's George coming back? When's George coming back? I want to add one. And then I did go back, but not with the big card. And Vivian and I got our heads together, so we started this little 6-ad card. And since then, we're doing tremendous. But then Jim Murray died, and his son took over the business, and he lost the business. So that's kind of how I got with this smaller card with 6 advertisings. And if you'll notice, some of them even has people would take a hat. The big size ad is $430. We mail them every 3 months. Okay. The smaller ads are $240. So a lot of people said, hey, I'll do a $240 ad. The idea is get your name out, let them know you're there, and offer them some kind of deal. And Josh was saying to promote the downtown business, or whatever you call it. Dalton, what do you call it?
Main Street.
Main Street. Yeah. And I told Josh, we can get 2, 4, 6, 8, or 2, 4, 6. We can get 10 half ads if you want. I mean, the more people you get, you're going to promote the downtown. If there's 20 people, not everybody can get on it. But you don't have to take a big ad. And then there's one ad where the postage, see now, I want to show you a minute. This Genie Knows Pizza, he's in Dover. He started out with me with just this. And then he said, you have a little bigger ad. So I gave you this plus under the postage. Now this, we knocked $50 off of this ad because we have to have the postage on every one. So he took this and this. Then he did it Dover, New Philly, Denison, Uricville, Baltimore, Strasburg, Sugar Creek, and Baltic. And I said, do Amish people buy pizza? He said, oh my God, they love pizza. Now, I didn't know it till later. He moved to Sugar Creek. So he's going to open a pizza shop in Sugar Creek. Genie knows in Sugar Creek. But he went from this to this to this. And I'll be surprised if he doesn't say, can I have this whole side? But I haven't had any openings since then, because most people been doing it with me does it every time. They just renew and change their coupons. But you can change it. This now, I should say that. Sugar Fuse, which is a coffee place, he changes his logo. He's just going to do October, November, December, and he sells, I think it's pumpkin coffee. And he's going to promote pumpkin coffee for Thanksgiving. And then he'll do something for Christmas and Easter. He changes his ad a lot. But not like this Lions, he hardly ever changes his ad. He sharpens knives. I don't know if you guys got that one right. But now this is Tlaquepaque. They're opening up another business. He owns both these businesses. So he went from a full-size ad. Do I have him on here? To he took a half ad because for his other business. Now they're already open. It said opening soon now, but now they're already open. And then the hobbies. See, she was advertising for the holidays. Fall event coming soon. So you can change it all the time. But what I thought you could do is I think Matt gave it to somebody. There's one that has, in the middle of the card, you could put the downtown, what you call it again?
Main Street Alliance.
Yeah. You could just do an ad, and that wouldn't cost you anything. You put downtown.
Main Street Alliance.
Main Street Alliance.
Yep.
To promote all the other businesses that are downtown. Like we got one I have one with a restaurant on it. I got one with a restaurant, a bunch of restaurants on it, only restaurants. See who's got that one. Let me see the other side of it. No.
This one?
It's got, yeah, see that middle
Yeah.
ad right here? It says, now Vivian designed this, the coolest people dine local, my favorite restaurant. So, see that's promoting, or you got one too, that's promoting restaurants. And these are all restaurants or pizza shops. So, I don't know if you girls saw this one. But, so yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. And the only challenge I got, well, are we talking Alliance East and Sebring and Beloit? Or are we talking Alliance West?
Whatever we would agree with as the group, that's what I would think.
Well, Earl's been
I'm
asking me
not
to
sure.
do, see, we send these to, it goes out to 5,200 people from Union Street, we call it Alliance West. And it only goes to people from Union Avenue over. So we don't, yeah, so we don't send it to Alliance from Union Street East, and then he suggested do Alliance East, Sebring, and Beloit. And Vivian gave me the numbers, and I think it's 4,200 cards, but I forgot to bring the notes. Alliance is Alliance 5,200 on your contract?
I think so.
5,200.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's like the thing I was saying though, it's like, I advertise on the side, I don't even get my advertisement, you have to bring it to me, cause we don't even get it delivered on this side of
I
town.
bring you samples.
And on top of that, if there's no room or whatever, and it becomes like a discussion, I'm more than willing to give up my space as a group space if that's, there's not enough space in the next one, and that's what
He went
deems
from-
to be, you know.
Yeah, he went from the under the postage ad to, to the bigger size. And then I put this new Mexican, whatever it is, on his spot. So, but yeah, I think if you're interested, if you get enough people to do it, promote that.
See, cause my thing with doing this side is we're obviously trying to service that side, but that side, it's also, we're trying to give them a reason like, hey, to either cause they're either programmed to go to State Street or they're programmed to go to Belton Village. So like all these, you know, it's like, you know, that's why it's like getting, you know, this side, and on top of that, as Mount Union grows, this becomes more residential and more college kids, more of what the demographics that we need to hit.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention, you go up to that side of State Street, all the way to Potter's Creek, that's a good income area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So just to
and-
cut Union off to that side, you're kind of cutting out a quarter of the city.
Well, I didn't know this when I worked at another company, and then when I started with Vivian, our own company. She said something, one time she said, well, this goes to people that makes 25,000 or more. And I said, how do you know that? He said, I can tell you what everybody makes on any given street. I said, you know how much money I make?
It's out
What?
there. It's out there.
It's based off your census.
I didn't even know
so.
that.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a little discriminatory to do that. Because my feeling is you make $15,000 a year, maybe you want coupons. Am I wrong? I don't know. Just like I do, you don't know this, but I do the coupons on the back of the grocery store register tapes also. And I do a lot of Save-A-Lot stores. And people shop at Save-A-Lot to save. And they'll use those coupons. I do about 14, Henry Nemes owns all these Save-A-Lot stores. He bought the 4 in Canton, which was lucky for me, because I live in Canton. I do his, this is the furthest point, I go Worcester Save-A-Lot, Orville Save-A-Lot, Massillon Save-A-Lot, and then the next one was clear over here to Alliance, and then Youngstown Boardman, Canfield, Austintown, he owns 14 stores. Well, he bought the 4 Canton stores, which was really good for me, because I shopped at the one at Myers Lake Plaza once in a while. So, but I do that also, that's my part-time job. No, that's my full-time job, this is my part-time job. And Vivian bugged me, well, Jim Murray, the carpet guy, he bugged me, and you know, when you get a good response, but that other company, 16 ads was tough. It was tough, and every 2 months, So I told Vivian, she said, George, I wanna talk to you, Jim and I wanna talk to you, blah, blah, blah. So they encouraged me to do it, but I love it, I'm a salesman, you know? I think this is a nice product, it's not that expensive. You know, divide, $400 into, well, I just started telling you, New Philly, we sent out 6,200 cards to New Philly. And here, I think it's, Alliance is 5,200, but, and she gave me that number, and maybe 4,200 from this way. But, you divide that into the cost, it's like, I don't know, 18 cents per card. So, that's kind of the way you look at it.
Yeah.
But, if you do it, yeah, you gotta kinda have to get everybody, that's why I said, if somebody's reluctant to spend $400, say, hey, take a half. You know, I believe when, you know, when he started doing this, and I think I told Josh, what difference is the size of the ad make? They're gonna use your coupon. He could have made that coupon smaller. See how big the coupons are? He could have made that smaller, and he gets, when I put him in Dover first, and then I did New Philadelphia second. And when I went back to see if he wanted to do New Philly, I said, how's your response on the coupons? He said, oh my golly, George. He opened his cash register drawer and he lifted the top of it out. Now this is like maybe 2 months. There had to have been 100 coupons in there in a 2-month period. Now he's getting 1,000 of them back, all those times that he's going. I mean, people from Sugar Creek come to Dover to buy pizza. He don't deliver to Dover. They come here to get it. And I'm sorry, Sugar Creek. Sugar Creek and Baldwin, they do not deliver there. They deliver to Baldwin. They don't even deliver to Strasburg. It's Baldwin, Strasburg. They don't deliver to Strasburg, but they deliver to Baldwin. And then Dennis in Uricksville, he delivers to Uricksville, but he doesn't deliver to Denison. And then of course Dover's by itself, and New Philly's by itself, and Baldwin, Strasburg. Yeah, I've been down that area for 3 or 4 years. But I get people. In fact, this guy that has the knife sharpener, he got one in the mail. Yeah, right there, Lion Sharpening Business. He lives in Dover, but his business is in New Philly, and he got one in the mail. He called me. My phone number's on all these, and he said, "Is this the community market?" Yeah. He said, "Well, I was inquiring about the postcard direct mailings." And then I said, "What kind of business you have?" He told me the whole 9 yards. And then I didn't have any openings, but then somebody underneath Sugar Fuse canceled, so I went to see it. So he took Dover with me, and then he just took New Philly with me. And he asked me about Dennis and Uricksville, but I don't have any openings there. But these cards went out on Tuesday. I got the samples on Thursday, and I delivered them to his place. And when I went in, his girlfriend owns a dog grooming place in his place of business where he has the sharpeners. And I didn't know it. And I said, is Mike here? And she said, no. She said, and I said, well, I just don't want to drop off these samples. She said, oh, we got 2 of those back yesterday. The cards were out on Tuesday. They got 2 coupons back on Wednesday. And I was here on Thursday. The sample, they already got it. But I mean, it blows my mind, you know, the way that it works. But, you know, it's kind of an impulsive thing. You know, you see a coupon, oh, I need to get my knife sharpened. I didn't even know there was such a business. You know, but he does. He do business. And he was promoting in Dennis and Uricksville when I was with the Chamber of Commerce and talked to them. You know, the girls here gave me a lead in Lyons area. And she gave me his name, Mike Lyons. She said, I thought he was going to move his business there, but he was just wanting to promote the area. He left his business card and some flyers or whatever, and she said, yeah, he's new in the area. Well, I didn't have any openings to call on him. And then all of a sudden, he called me like 6 months later or whatever. So it's amazing how it works. I don't know, you know.
How does the whole design process go?
Pardon?
The design process?
Vivian Mosey does it all. All your design, what she normally does, she'll get on Facebook or website and get your pictures. All you tell me what you want is what you want on that coupon. She'll do the rest. I need everybody's email. She proofs the email too. I should have brought one in. I give you a sample, didn't I? From Vivian, a proof?
I don't think so.
Well, anyhow, she sends her my email too.
Sure.
She sends it to the customer's email.
Yeah.
And I print it out. I got hundreds of them out there.
Okay.
And I like to see it myself too.
Right.
And then like if I'm calling on that type of business, like dog grooming. I've got several dog groomers doing it now. And you know what's amazing? And you have dogs, get them groomed. Okay. How far in advance do you have to wait to get your dog groomed?
Oh.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Do I have that one with the dog groomer? Yeah, oh, it's right here. Yeah, this is the line. She's in, where's she at? In
Yeah.
Louisville. And she advertised on that card. And she got a couple of responses the first week it went out. She wants me to do, Louisville and East Canton mailer. In fact, Vivian's going to, she's pursuing that information now. We're gonna do a mailing for Louisville, excuse me, and East Canton zip codes. So, but she's 2 months ahead.
So how many ads are available, like, on the whole card? If they were all like a half an ad, how
Well,
much?
all but this one here, this one has to be full size.
Okay.
And I know some guy will probably take that under the postage ad. Some guy with a lot of money will probably take that under the postage ad. So there would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. yeah.
And then how many of the full-size ads would it be?
Well,
Then? 5 or 6?
There's only 1, 2, 3, there would be 5, yeah. See, you gotta eliminate the postage one.
Yeah.
So there's 3 on one side and 2 on the other side.
Okay.
How many different mailers do you, because I see this one goes out every, what,
3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
Do you have another one that goes out the next month for
No,
different companies?
no, oh, you kid, I might as well go back there and work for the company who wanted me to do 16 ads.
Okay, but these, like he said, he's got his ad.
Yeah, that's,
So how
that's,
do
a-
we
well,
get on this
look
card?
at the expiration date on that. Look at the expiration date on those coupons. That's
Yeah.
when is it?
22. 11/30/22.
November 22?
Yeah.
So I'll be here to get them out that week. So that'll be for like the end of November, then December, January. Those coupons will expire February 26th. Sometimes we don't get the same day of the month. But, yeah, so that determines, and then I have to give everybody on at first chance to renew.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't go sell somebody else.
Well, the question, I think what you guys are trying to get to is, if we decide to do this as a group, and your card's full, how would that work?
It's not gonna be full, it's gonna be a new card.
Well, I'm saying, but you have to
Okay,
give
so
other
it'll be
people the
a new
first
card for
opportunity.
everybody.
Yeah, now, I've never done this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something I threw on him.
Yes.
To be specific.
I understand.
This was
that.
my
I
idea.
understand that now, yeah.
What do you think about me doing a downtown mailer alongside of, maybe a month after that one? What would you think about that? Is that kosher?
That's
I
what I'm
think
saying,
that-
this is
yes,
where,
I think that would be awesome.
where it could say shop downtown and then have all the businesses on one
That-
side of the
yes,
card.
that's-
And then
where I
have
was
the other
going with my
card
questions.
Where, in other words, if he wants, he could be on both cards.
If
Yeah.
you wanted
If
to,
you got a
right, you
downtown
got Mr.
card?
Big Bucks and Big Card Deal over there, yeah.
He's got all the holographic cards.
I looked-
Big ballin'.
Wait, I looked at him to take the Louisville and the East Canton card.
It could be like a, come to, downtown
Right.
to Main
Well, the
Street,
thing
and then
is,
have our
like,
businesses on the other side.
down the road, we look
Kind
at-
of what I was thinking.
Creating that First Fridays.
Yes.
And that could be a way to advertise the First Fridays.
Right.
To where we could own one side of the card as a group, advertise on it, as all the businesses as advertisers that are involved in the downtown First
Right.
Fridays, and then have that as a thing to keep in front of people. Hey,
Right.
don't miss First Friday, don't miss First Friday.
Here's another thing, this, Magic Hobbies, similar to his business, she's got stuff in there for kids and all that. She's on every card I do, and I don't know how it come up, I said something, I'm working North Canton. There's 44718 and 44720 North Canton zip codes, like this. She said, I want those cards, I want those cards. I said, what? I said, Vivian, I said, that's like a half hour, an hour away from here. She said, we drive from 2 hours away. I mean, then she gave me a lesson on how far they go and how much business they do at this place in Mammoth. Oh my God! And they have races. The kids go and they race their cars in the whole back room, like big as this. And I mean, I'm amazed at some of the stuff that I learned. But she wants on the North Canton both zip code cards. She's advertising a promotion, fall event coming soon, so she got pumpkins on there. She'll do her Christmas, she'll have a Christmas tree on there, depends on the holidays.
Yeah,
Vivian does all this
I
stuff.
was
So you
thinking
guys can
our
do that
card
too
would
for-
come out right before Black Friday, so this is just like a great opportunity
Well,
to try to
because-
have some kind of deal
Christmas
or,
event.
Yeah.
yeah, or get your
Black Friday.
decorations for the
After
holiday
Thanksgiving, day
time.
after Thanksgiving, yeah.
Careful. I'm only one salesman. And I'm doing 2 other towns right now. And I gotta go clear to Jefferson, Ohio to do the register case for Sanders Market that has one in, they used to be here in the Alliance, remember they closed?
Yep.
They're in Jefferson and I just did Carrollton and Caddis. And I gotta go clear up to Jefferson. But I've been playing baseball for 2 weeks, so forgive me. My team won the championship. We had an 80-member tournament at Munson Stadium. We won it all. But I'm tired.
So when do we need to have the finances
Well,
together
yeah,
for you?
Vivian takes care of all of that. If you, when's Black Friday?
November 26th or whatever, I think.
Cause you said the next one goes out November 20 something, 20th or 22nd.
For
Yeah.
what town? For here?
Well, for here. So I assumed ours would go out the same time, but that was just an assumption.
Is it November 22nd?
Assumption or wishful thinking, whatever.
But
These are expire, November 30th, so, these coupons.
Okay, and that's the latest one on out. So,
Mine says
The
2020.
25th.
Does yours say
The
2022?
25th is Black
This
Friday.
one-
I could have swore you put the 22nd on my last contract, but I'm not sure.
I mean, you wouldn't want to promote Black Friday if we can't get the cars out before Black Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we gotta watch. The same way with Sugar Fuse. You
Well,
know.
or the Monday too, the following Monday is what they call Small Business Monday
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, you've got a lot of promotions. You can do holidays. I mean, you can do every holiday. But, well, remember now, I'm only a member every 3 months, so that's another thing you've got to consider.
Right.
Whatever you're gonna promote, like she was promoting Thanksgiving, I guess. These expire October 30th. Does that expire October 30th too? November
No,
30th?
November 30th.
Okay, yeah. So see, this was before,
Mine's 20 like yours.
oh, this was just fall event, so it wasn't necessarily Thanksgiving or Halloween or Christmas, yeah. And like you said, Vivian's really good, I mean, she does.
So
the most
basically, we'll
fantastic-
work with her on that, pretty
Yeah,
much
you just tell
everything.
her- Most of my clients tell her what they want.
Okay.
She's easy to email and text, like she'll
Oh, yeah,
talk with you back and
he's in
forth.
touch with
Okay,
her all the time.
cool.
Yeah.
So you've had that.
She's really easy to deal with. I just basically gave her previous advertising I had, and then I tell her. So she did her little doodle. I told her what other images I wanted on it and what I want, and then each time I do one with them, I just mail her the information I want.
Yeah,
She just
she
changes
said she
it.
hasn't heard from you on the changes, or you're making new changes? or you're-
I emailed her the change. So.
Okay,
We should be good. The next one, I don't know, like I want to talk to you about the Louisville is Canton one too, so. I mean, you know, that's another area where it's like, can I get them to come to Alliance, but instead of going to Canton, it's another in-betweener.
Right.
That's why I've honestly thought about seeing how much the billboard is on Columbus and 44 right above, the one bar there, because that's like, literally before you get to 62 is like this point, like, do I go to Alliance or do I go to Canton? Like, so anything that can steer people out of Canton, you know, like, and let them know, like, hey, there's these options, like, there's more than just State Street.
And to be honest with you, Louisville people come to the Lions Walmart versus the Canton Walmart. That's where they'd rather shop
Yeah.
anyway,
I've got,
so.
Yeah, I mean, they're already coming here partially, so it's like, you know, you gotta get them all the way in here, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, so, and
I've got 3 people that wants on the Louisville East Canton cards. Well, according to the dog groomer, is her name Jessica, the owner? It's not on there, I don't think, but I thought maybe you guys took the dog here.
No.
Anyway, her name is Jessica, and she's promoting it for me over there. So, she said, I got 2 more plus them, I got 3. So, I mean, if you guys wanna put just one ad for the whole downtown area, it's up to you. But I haven't even started on it yet. In fact, I'm waiting for Vivian to send me the numbers for Alliance, East, and Bolivar, and Sebring, and Floyd. I'm waiting for those, and I'm also waiting for the Louisville and East Canton numbers. I've been trying to reach her for 2 or 3 days, and she's not responding, her email or her phone. I left a message on her phone, but normally she gets back with me like that. Or she'll send me an email, said, I was in a meeting, I'll call you back. If I send her an email, she'll say, I'll get back with you, or she'll leave that text, she'll text me, I'll get back with you.
So what would it cost to own the one side as a group?
The whole thing.
Yeah.
We would have to get the whole thing. So
That's what I'm saying.
basically, there's only, okay, yeah, the
Yeah, that's
whole
what I'm
thing.
saying. Like, if we wanted to own one side of the card, now, of course, this is gonna be a cheaper side with the postage than this side here.
Yeah.
But what would it cost
It
for
would
either
be
side?
hard to do it with the postage if you're gonna do this.
Okay.
Did I give you the one with
What about the G&E notice, like how he did it?
I've got.
This one?
The credit, yeah, see, there's a full size one right there, they bought that.
Right.
Now, see, that would have been, let's see, that would have been around $1,200. I gave it her for $900. And she only did it twice. Now, that was only for Denison and Yorkville. She didn't do Dover or New Philly. She said, get back, I'll do this later. Well, then I filled the card. She wants the whole thing or nothing.
What, you said it was, the ad underneath the postage was
Well,
$50 off,
okay,
right?
It's $430 and then I knock off $50 for the one under the postage.
Okay.
So subtract $50 from $430, what, $380?
So, to own,
Yeah,
yeah, to
$380.
own the whole card would be $2,530.
The entire card.
Would be
both
the whole
sides.
card.
Yeah.
So if, depending on how many businesses, if we wanted, like,
How'd you price that out?
I just did it at the 430,
Yeah,
430, 380.
But then he
Multiply.
just said, like, if you did one whole side, you do it
Yeah.
for 900,
Yeah.
Right.
like that one
Well,
over there.
Well, so what I was thinking is that if we did one side that said like, hey, you know, come see us downtown, and then on this side, we had all of our shops with our codes or our
Right.
coupons or whatever, it would basically be whatever size ad you took out on this side,
Right, credit card ads for
and then
everybody.
divided by how many would pay for the other. So if we have 12 businesses,
Right,
you know,
what would that cost?
That-
What would
I say
cost
that
me?
would end up-
Say we wanted both sides of the card.
Okay, now.
What kind of deal would you
well,
make on
I
that?
got-
how much,
I
do you know
got-
how
I
many
got back
businesses
up
we
on
have
that.
downtown?
The
Just
only
roughly
reason-
that
well,
participate in
the only reason
things?
I cut her deal because she only do
Not
one
off the top of my head, no.
$250 an ad. So, that's why I could cut them a deal, because I only paid her for one ad on that, instead of
Right.
three.
Right,
So, but if you've got six, then that's six different ads. She'll cut me a deal, Vivian will cut me a deal, so we'll talk money later.
Don't worry, I got him on camera saying it.
Yeah,
we got him trapped.
So if it was that full price and we say that there were 8 businesses that wanted to advertise on it, for the whole card, having one side being, hey, come downtown, and one side being an ad,
Us.
would be about $316 a business.
Right.
If there were 8 of us. Now, if there were more or less, obviously.
Providing
that
that
would-
Vivian would give us a little
Yes,
break.
I mean, if
Yeah.
that would all work out that way.
Right, then you would go
So-
down to the tattoo shop over here and ask if they wanna be on
Right.
and get
I
everybody
say
involved.
that was just a rough estimate, so depending on how many we had, that would obviously come lower.
So you got to sharpen your pencil, figure out what's gonna cost for a whole card for us, so we can make a well-informed decision as which way to go.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Both
Yep.
sides.
You know, you're just straining my brain. No, we'll figure it out, Viv and I will figure it out, you know.
The reason why is we
I
like to
can't
make
imagine
it so
her
that,
charging me for 12 ads, or
Right.
16 ads or whatever. I say, Viv, here's what they want.
right,
Yeah, I mean, let her know we're a revitalization group, you know, this is a group of businesses in an area that's depressed, trying to come up. I mean, that's what our group is about, and that's why we're going together for the ad.
you don't normally have this businesses camaraderie thing.
Yeah.
In most businesses, they kind of shoot each other's neck.
Yeah.
Here is a little bit more than that, we kind of work together and try to figure out how we can get the most benefit into our area, because we know that we are in a depressed area, that we have to
Well, I
do
was
what we
telling
can.
Josh.
He's gonna have somebody come down with a Wally Armor Jeep to put a present, and he did help pay for advertising in that. It'd be great to capture him for the First Fridays on some of that stuff, or some of the other local businesses that, you know, are willing to open up the book to invest into the downtown a little bit.
Sure.
So those are things that we have for, the ideas we have for some of the future, and, you know, anybody that knows some guys like that, it's great to reach out to them. because
Yeah, absolutely.
Those guys are looking for.
Do you wanna invite them to a meeting maybe?
Yeah,
Or-
sure, I could,
I think that'd be cool.
yeah.
I think that's for the ad, that's where I see kind of the two approaches or two options is, does it become just a downtown alliance and just as a location, and these are all the businesses in downtown alliance, or because we're, you know, hoping to start and coordinate this Main Street program, does it become the Main Street Program Alliance, which is the kind of also included with the revitalization effort and just the area in general, and Main Street being, you know, there's Main Streets across all of Ohio, that it becomes kind of, it becomes a little bit more organized and kind of constructed, right? Like, it's,
Well, you do like shop downtown, don't forget First Fridays, don't forget.
Yeah.
And you have all these little pop ads on all over the page there. It really creates those different events that we'll have as it grows downtown.
I also think about, if we utilize it under the Main Street program, I'm gonna have to get my butt moving on a logo for Main Street, so, but that's okay, I can do that.
I'll tell you what, Viv will design it for you for nothing, so don't pay to get it done.
Okay.
She'll do it for you for nothing.
I'll try something out myself, and I have issues, I'll reach out to her. So, yeah, and that's everyone's decision, right? Because this Main Street program that we're trying to start is new, do we want to do that now? Does everyone want to have their business as a part of this and underneath that? Or does it just become the location of Alliance?
Excuse me, but
Okay.
if you use the Main Street label or logo or info, would that cut other people out that might want on, it's not on Main Street?
That's why you would focus at the one side. You're doing a separate ad for that one side.
Okay, I just didn't want to cut anybody out that might be interested if they put it on Main Street, they're like going up.
Basically, George, what it sounded like, they're not trying to suffocate this one, we're trying to get you to do another one, and possibly see if we can get Giannino's involved, so Giannino's or somebody else can take one whole side, so we take an opposite. That's in addition to your actual mailer, because we're not cutting, it sounded like
Right.
anybody else out, where we're trying to get you to do our own
Yes.
one,
Yeah.
but we're thinking about reaching out to another business to see if they would be willing, to do, just because like it's our first one and 5 of us don't want to have to sit there at the end of the day and shell out $500 a piece on advertising that 12 of us agreed to.
Yeah.
So,
I think we-
so
yeah.
basically, I think finding a back end partner. I'll even reach out to Carl at Harding Heating and Cooling. I don't know if he'd be willing to take out a full ad, but like he might be interested as well. To where we get like we'll figure out a way so that we can have a whole back half of an ad to start off with and fill another one. So we're actually gonna make you more money on trying to get you another card. Is basically I think what we're
You can
kind
even
of
do the downtown group and have local businesses that are sponsors of our events, which could be Heating Harding, could be a sponsor at that point, Wally Armors could be a sponsor at that point. To where you have some of those bigger businesses that down the road can help pay for some of that card.
Okay,
You know?
now, one other thought. What if we include the zip codes clear over to Sebring? That would cover what we're talking about, Alliance East. In other words,
Well-
get these, call these kids, get this side of the town, do the whole
Yes.
thing, instead of just, I don't even know how this happened, how we went,
Well, they're
Alliance
going off
West.
of demographics is what they're going off of.
Okay, I don't know how Vivian, she did the numbers
Right.
and things, I don't know how she did it. I didn't know. I
Well, it's
didn't even
based
know
off
we
the
were
last
missing people.
census, but as Mount Union leaves its Christian moniker and starts opening itself up, it is starting to clean up this whole section and it's becoming more residential. The minute you start driving up, like it's really, you get about halfway up now and all of a sudden it completely changes because there's money being invested in this section over here. And it's gonna start coming down this way. It's inevitable the more that Mount Union grows. I mean, because there's no
I've
place to put them.
actually cleaned out estates where the Mount Union students, parents are buying them the homes.
Yeah.
There's some of them that are in that area that have actually been purchased, and then the students are living there for 4 years, and then they end up staying. Because the house, they can pay for $20,000 a year, live in a dorm, or parents can buy an $80,000 home and let them live there, and then it becomes a part of their.
I'll go get Vivian's business card to give to every one of you.
Okay.
That way you can keep in touch with everybody.
So like you're saying, that people are starting to invest in the community down here and starting to take over some of that area a little bit.
Yeah.
So I have one consideration.
Okay.
With doing this as a part of the Main Street program, it would basically, there's other companies that are not on, businesses that are not on Main Street that would potentially be on this,
Right.
right?
And that's where you kind of like with the First Friday thing, you can say sponsors for events downtown. You can
Yeah.
use those businesses as a way to pay for some of that card. You know what I mean?
I have a question. I'm sorry, I might be.
No.
But I missed the last one, so I might be. So you're saying like the Main Street, what is that? I don't know what that is
All right,
yet.
this is Dalton.
I do know that. I know who Dalton is. I just am not exactly positive on what we're constructing. Main Street?
This is a little wheel that's just starting to turn a little bit. I already got one.
Well, I'm all in. You can read along.
He knows the name of the street.
So the Main Street program, we're hoping to start, it's a part of Heritage Ohio, and it's actually a federal program. And it's basically just guidelines for downtown revitalization. And it's based in improving businesses and kind of adaptive reuse and restoration of the infrastructure. So it focuses on economic growth and improving the preservation, improving the buildings, the actual infrastructure. So that's what the Main Street program focuses on. It's a network. So if you think of like downtown Ravenna or downtown Akron or downtown Cuyahoga Falls, they're all Main Street programs. It's a nonprofit program that basically acts as the coordinator to downtown revitalization. And it never kind of speaks on behalf of businesses. It helps just kind of organize and move direction forward, and that this is what we're gonna do to improve downtown. And the goal is essentially that Main Street brings people downtown.
Yes.
And then from there, the businesses do what they need to do.
Right.
So that businesses don't have to stress over just getting people to the area. That's what the Main Street program is meant to do. So if and one of the ways they do that is First Fridays. So that's why there was discussion about First Fridays, and that's one of their big programs. So if we think about like First Fridays in Canton or wherever else, Kent. So that's a Main Street program, and I'm currently heading that to try to start the program, which we're gonna try to kick off with First Fridays, and kind of as a way to work our way up.
Okay.
So that's
Can
in a
I ask a
nutshell.
really
Yeah.
off the wall question on that?
Yeah.
So I know, I won't lie, I've never been to any of the surrounding communities First Fridays. I've heard of them, I've seen the pictures, but I've never actually gone to them
Yeah.
because kids.
You're welcome.
But
You're welcome, Mom.
my understanding of that is that there are things to do.
Yes. Yeah.
And while I'm excited to be part of this, we don't have a lot to do yet. I mean, we've got shops to go into, but we don't have like Aaron and I couldn't come down here for a date night.
Yeah.
Because there's, you know what I mean?
And it
We
all
don't
depends
have
on-
somewhere to stop and get a drink yet.
Yeah.
We don't have somewhere to stop and have snacks or
There's no restaurant really.
No restaurant.
or even go dancing or hang out and, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we need something a little more fun, I think, before we can think about or include to pull that in.
Yeah, I think so it depends on where you go for the First Fridays.
Okay.
Because in reality, most communities that have main streets, they start off a lot like us. It
Okay.
is unique for our instance that we don't really have like a family restaurant in the downtown or like a quick bite place. That is a little unique for us. But First Fridays,
But at the same time, you can bring in food trucks until
Exactly.
we can kind of
Okay.
create that.
Okay.
That's the other thing.
So First
That's
Fridays for us could look like something like allowing vendors at no charge to just all be here at the same Friday, first Friday of the month.
Okay.
And I would coordinate all the variation of vendors.
Okay.
This is
food
kind of,
vendors.
this is
So-
Okay.
kind of like when we do our downtown event, one thing
Sure.
that kind of opened my eyes with Josh when he brought in the lady from Heritage, Ohio. She said, stop putting your events in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And I didn't think
Be
about that.
sidewalk based.
Yeah.
Right, be
Yeah.
sidewalk based, so
Okay.
people have to walk up down the street, cars are driving by wondering
Right.
where all these people are going. They wanna pull over and they wanna be a part of it for
Right.
whatever reason.
Okay.
It makes them wanna join in.
We have room on the sidewalks for
Yeah.
food trucks and stuff.
No, you'll give them
food truck
you'll give them a
would-
place,
yeah.
like Mrs. White, where I got that red truck sitting
Okay,
for the
okay, you
state.
put
That truck can be
that
moved
or
and a
the
food truck
parking
can be
lot
put there
truck.
in different places.
Yeah. In reality, we have so much space in our downtown.
We do.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at places like Cuyahoga Falls or Kent or wherever, like they can do a lot, and it's like you fight for parking sometimes, and
Right.
that's a good thing for businesses, right? Like
Right.
you want that to happen. So
Yeah, that's what, like she said, you wanna be uncomfortable. You want people to feel like they've gotta really, I mean, you go to the flea market, how many fields do you walk across before you get to the tables? People will do it if the streets are packed, you know?
So the idea is that the first Fridays, because it would be really based in kind of just business participation and just being open and just being like, hey, like you have our support, like they could turn into things like maybe thematic things to where all businesses do something thematic for each Friday. We could turn it into something like that, but it would basically just be coordinating, like getting vendors downtown, making sure that we are addressing different age groups, different demographics, types of people to come in, and then from there, hopefully business grows and hopefully someone opens up a restaurant, and then we keep doing, but like we keep working towards it from that point. Because I mean, if we sat down here and waited for the perfect like restaurant to open, this
I know, and I know that in the location where 253 was, there've been a lot of restaurants over the last several years, and I think that a lot of that is that we haven't had the people here with it, so we have to get.
You guys ever eat at Pogies in Louisville?
No.
It's a barbecue place. They started as a food truck company. They now have a restaurant in Louisville. The food truck sits outside, and on the weekends the truck disappears and goes all over wherever they go, but the restaurant's there.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's no dining room. It's all picnic table, walk up, order only. Great food, and it's not a bad idea. And they took a building that was absolutely sitting out in the middle of nowhere, because really, I mean, it's not downtown. It's way out of town for compared to where the other place, but they're constantly have people sitting there eating all the time. Food's good. So ultimately, if we get food trucks down here, the food truck does real well down here. Guess what he's gonna be looking for in no time at all? He's gonna be looking for a building he can set up a restaurant in.
Okay.
Because the people like his food.
The food trucks are great. I love that. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does. There are questions about like, you know, what do you do like for someone that wants to make it like a date night or something, and I think those are. I really hope to get to the point where we have that problem. Like I would like to get to the point where I can. Well, we need this kind of thing here, you know, like that's. But So.
Well, I'm just like thinking of what, you know, what is going to draw me to come and do it. Is it something that we can do together? So.
And part of it is because, so the really big part of that, to answer that question, it's from the network of Main Streets.
Okay.
So Main Street is a network, it's a national network. So if you look at places like Sugar Creek or Millersburg, Millersburg is a main street. Like people understand the name Main Street at like next to the city name, and that it is a program, and that people can go from Main Street Ravenna to Main Street Kent to Main Street Millersburg to Main Street Alliance, and that in Canton, and that they're gonna have First Fridays, they're gonna have these kind of coordinated events, and that they're family friendly, and that they have these different types of things to do. So that's what's really nice, is that it's a network, so it provides like stability in that sense.
Okay.
There's a huge list of these cities that are tied to this.
Yeah.
There was a 35, Josh, 32, something like the 35 cities that are incorporated in this Heritage Ohio thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with the first Friday, I know you're still, but
I'm
we're
sorry.
ways out on that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've got businesses down that way, all the way up, you know, basically to Napa.
Yeah.
You know, do you fill this whole space?
That's what we want eventually, yep.
Because, you know, every once in a while we get an event and it's just this block.
Right.
Or
Well,
it's
it's been
in
that.
that caboose parking lot.
It's been that because that's where the bulk of the open businesses are at, and that's why we've done
Right.
that. But the one thing we're not allowed to do on a street event is we're not allowed to shut down our street, and we're not allowed to go past Freedom. Because Freedom blocks off the B&B, they don't want any hassle with them down there.
Right.
They also don't want you shutting down the main drag of Arch, so we're not allowed to go across our street. Even when they had the rib burn off, they couldn't come, they wanted to come down from there.
Yeah.
They cannot shut down Arch, for whatever reason, it's a fire code issue or whatever.
Okay.
So, but if we do it on the sidewalks, we're not actually shutting down
You
the
don't have to
street,
shut down
people
the
can
street.
just walk across.
Right.
Instead of packing in a street, we're packing in it long ways down the sidewalks.
And it's so much better for businesses too, because I mean, you put people where they're naturally meant to be, which is walking along the storefronts, not
Yes.
walking down the middle of the road.
Right.
Yeah.
And that it creates that space between the street and the shop, and density is good, like having stuff on this side and on this side, and making people like move between spaces, like you want that to